I love George. I love George. He's gonna fucking see this too.
Good.
He probably won't.
I got a good photo of him while we were at Honor 2. I got him and Jeremy. It was like right before I got to you. Or no, right after I got to you.
Okay.
And I got really good photos of them. And then George was talking about how you guys wanted to get him down to heavyweight.
Yeah.
And then that way he can actually do something better. But his job...
And no, he won't. He's working and moving, and there's always something going on that prohibits him from actually training. Which is funny because I told James Neff over at Victory that I'd help him spar. It's like, hey, if you need a couple, these guys got to fight. He's fighting Jordan Beverly.
Oh, that's the one they made?
Yeah, for April 21st. Quit trying to move my fucking laptop. You don't have to see my face.
I was looking at this.
You don't have to see my face.
Maybe I wanted to see your face.
I don't want to see your face.
Are they going to make that for a title? Well, no.
I don't think
he's going to fight for it. That's
Yeah.
right. The super heavyweight title, and then he's going pro, and it'll be vacant again if he wins.
But I don't know. I don't know if they're making that a title fight though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is.
Super Amy title. Super heavyweight.
But the
title.
James Neff one?
No.
Oh,
Bashir.
you're talking about Bashir.
Bashir,
And yeah. But no, it was.
That was announced last week.
Well, yeah, when I was with James Neff, I told him I'd get in there and help him spar. Then George was like, "Yeah, man, I'll be there too." And I'm like, "Will you though?
Win.
Will you?"
I talked to him the other day. I kind of busted his balls a little bit. And I was like, "Look, motherfucker, stop telling me you're gonna be there. And I tell people you're coming, and not only do you not show, no one fucking hears from you for 4 days."
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Don't be sorry. It's your time. You're the one missing out."
Right.
You know. But
I love busting their balls, man. Like Angelo, when he posted the picture, I was like, "Hey, at least the picture in the pictures, it looks like you're winning the fight." I mean, that's good.
was it that link? Was that the same pictures I got? From? Okay.
Yeah, it was the same one.
So
I was
thought
gonna
it was
say
like
something to you, like you
recurring.
posted them up, and I was like, "Yeah, Angelo just posted those pictures."
Well, that's where I got it from. I'm like, this is like the fight before. That's why
It's typical amateur promotions, like amateur promotions. That's what Cage Thunder is basically, because they put on amateur shows. But yeah, it's the first show was like in November, and they're just now getting pictures of So but at least they're getting pictures up now. What I hate is like photographers now, when they go to shows like Honor and they do like a whole album of pictures, and then they charge fighters like $5 to $15 just so they can use it as like a profile picture. And it's like, back in the day, man, people took pictures, man, and that was like, oh, you searched all over, social media and all over the internet, and you're like just scouring through pages and pages of pictures trying to find that one picture of you. And half the time, no one was even taking pictures of you.
Yeah, and that's why we have we have that one girl, Mallory. She's the Honor photographer, because she just take pictures. There they are, done. She gets a flat fee, out.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're trying to work on, because
What about what was that? Katie J. She did the Tadmore Caged Madness. I thought that people were trying to pick her up because she's really good at that.
She was gonna come in. Like, I like Katie. Like, I talked to her. When I told her when weigh-ins were, when the fight was, and then there was miscommunication, like her having to be at weigh-ins or not. She didn't show, and then we had 3 other people taking pictures, so it was like, just tell her not to come. We don't need her.
Yeah.
The girl that does the OCW pictures is now going to do Honor.
Okay.
And then we're trying to work it out to where we're going to have our own photographer contracts, to where people come in like, hey, we're not paying you for shit. You want to take pictures, you pay us to be here.
Right.
Like, we'll have media passes, but if we give you a media pass, we don't pay you for pictures. Our logo has to be on everything you take here. Your logo can be on it too.
Right.
The
cross promotion's all the same.
Yeah, and it's just so, it's almost like a monopoly. If you want a picture of somebody fighting, well, you have to go through me. And then, now I have to ask you because you're the owner of the promotion. And it's just such garbage, especially for the fighters. All they want is a fucking picture to be like, hey, look at me.
Right.
And self-promote, and they got to pay for it. It's stupid.
Right.
And the promotion gets nothing from it. The fighter gets nothing from it, unless he buys the picture.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the ones they have, like, oh, it's me. No, behind that giant logo going across my face, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, the giant. Look at that watermark. It's not just a watermark. Why does it say it across my forehead?
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
But anyway, we're all just sitting here bullshitting. Welcome to Rubber City Throwdown. New and improved. Zero fucks given today. This is our second podcast of 2018. And joining us today, we've got the general manager of Honor Fighting Championship, Brian Clark. Hello, Brian.
Hello. Good to be here. Looks great, guys.
But yeah, the GM for Honor Fighting Championship. That's the next event. It's Honor Fighting Championship 3, Operation Shockwave, March 31st, and that's at the Chaparrals Event Center, same venue that they were their last show, the Honor Fighting Championship 2.
Capacity level.
No name. They're starting to add names now to the events. So, and I think that's more of that's a promotion tactic Jeremy's using right now, just because Jeremy called out is primarily came from wrestling. So,
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we have names too. Is it's going to help keep the fights on like more of a categorizing who fought where, and because some other promotions are purposely scheduling dates on our dates, kind of declaring war. So. Operation Shockwave, whatever names we come up with after this, they're all reacting to us, trying to, steal
Which
fights
is-
the way that we might have because we've gotten so big so fast. They are threatened. So.
any person that feels as though somebody's going to be a threat is going to do the exact same thing. If there's no retaliation, you're not doing something right.
Right. Can't blame him, but hey, it is what it is now. So
Right.
yeah, and we got Chad Kelly and Aaron Jeffrey. Is that right now? Is that the main event? Are you guys looking to fill another spot in the main event slot?
I believe as of right now, that's the main event, but there's still some things in the works. Can't say what they are yet, just because it's 2-3 fights to try to put together. But that could end up being the main event because we also have a show a month after this. There's trying to keep all the shows equally good, not load just one card up. So
yeah, and they've already started pumping out like promotion for the next month's show, and they haven't even filled this fight card. Like, they haven't even announced the full fight card for this show yet, so it's actually kind of interesting. We also got Drew Schottenheimer from Victory MMA fighting Kahim Murray. Am I saying that right? Kahim?
I think it's Kahim. Yeah,
Kahim Murray.
I don't think he's Jewish. Hawking
How
a
do you
loogie.
know? How do you know he's
Hawking
not
a
Jewish?
loogie on it. I mean, I don't know.
And so we got James Pfeiffer and Stephen DeFale. Jennifer Hicks versus Kyla Kipp. Kyla Kipp, we've covered her
Kemp.
before.
Kayla Kip, right?
Kipp.
Yeah.
Kayla
Is
Kipp.
it Kip or Kemp?
Kipp. Kipp.
Okay.
And that's a title fight.
Yeah.
Jennifer
the
Hicks
women's
is
division?
4'11". Wow. It's 100. Are they fighting at 115 or 125?
115.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that Jennifer's last fight, I think she was at 125. So, and then for the super heavyweight amateur, this fight was supposed to be the professional debut of both fighters on January 27th with Nicholas Brashear and Ian Suttles. Both fighters are undefeated. Nicholas is 7-0. Ian is 5-0. They're both 6'4", 6'3", over 300 pounds. And the fight never ended up happening because with the new rule set with the Ohio Athletic Commission, you now have 9 amateur fights. So they refused to let them make their pro debut on January 27th, Honor Fighting Championship 2. So now they're fighting still, because that fight last time got canceled, but it's not a professional debut. Now it's a super heavyweight title fight. What do you
Correct.
think about this?
Well, I understand the rule. I like the rule. What I don't like is the fights are approved. The rule comes out. Somehow the fights that Honor is approved for get denied, but then they get approved somewhere else.
Right.
So, I don't want to say playing favorites or having a vendetta against certain people that may work for Honor or Honor itself, but that's what it seems like. But it's a good fight. Like, Nick's big, he's tough, he hits hard. Surprisingly, he has good kicks. Like that, when he fought George Pointer, he had some good kicks, and Ian is a good wrestler. Like, it could be, a war against the cage is how I see that. It'd have been nice to have that as a pro debut, on the previous card, but I know it's going to be Nick's last amateur fight.
Right.
Like it's already been said, he has this fight and then he's going pro. Win or lose, he's going pro.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So
I was looking forward to that fight last month, and I'm definitely looking forward to it now. I'm glad I get to commentate during that fight. I'm out up close in the action, get to see the big boys. So, and Nicholas, he basically out wrestled George Pointer last time too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this fight takes place. And then we got Matt. You remember Jake Schilling, right?
Vaguely.
Yeah, we covered Jake. I believe we covered Jake last year.
Yes.
And just want to make sure I'm actually referring to the right Schilling.
I know that we did have a problem finding him on social media because
it was at Cage Madness 47 he fought TJ Riggle. So yeah, and this Jake Schilling. I mean, he had a hell of a fight against TJ too. So and he's fighting Yohi Rose. Man, dude, this is some crazy names.
As long as you don't hawk a loogie on the microphone, we're good.
But it's 6-0, and Yohi. God, I hope I'm saying that right.
yeah, I don't know about him, but I know Mr. Corbin does a pretty good job of matching people evenly, so he's not gonna
Now,
put
is
anyone
he,
in there to get stomped.
Well,
is he a local guy, or
he's
is
6-0,
he
and
coming in from a different state?
I'm gonna assume he's coming in from someone else because we don't know who he is.
Okay. Well, yeah, I figured that much, but I didn't know if maybe he was just a random guy that just moved in, or.
Well, I mean, he's from Ohio, and the crazy part is that he's 5'5", and he's fighting. He fought and won against Jared Patterson.
Okay.
Yeah, Jared Patterson was like fighter of the night at one of the Cage Madness events.
Yeah, we were at that one.
He beat Justin Julian.
Yeah.
We've covered Justin, so he's got a hell of a and he beat Jared Patterson for the title in 24 seconds of round 2 at Iron Tiger #fuck Alliance, and he took the title there. So this is gonna be an interesting fight because Jake Schilling is a good fighter,
Right.
and he's 7-2, sitting at 7-2. So he's a good fighter. So this is gonna be really interesting, and it's like 5'8" for Jake, and then 5'5" for Yohi, and so I imagine this fight's going to take place at lightweight. So I don't think because I know it says Yohi's 165. There's probably a catch weight at his last fight or something, but I imagine this fight's going to take place at lightweight. So I'm actually pretty happy about it. We got Mo Miller versus Jesse Hinderman, 2-0 for Mo.
Fight. That's awesome. That guy has so much trouble getting people to fight him and not back out.
Well, it's good. It's a featherweight matchup against Jesse Hinderman. Hinderman is 2-0.
What causes that to be such a hindrance?
He's a really good wrestler. I mean, and he's a good fighter.
Right.
It's just it's one of those things where someone's like, yeah, I'll fight him, and then a couple weeks before
They review some of his fights
or they just for whatever reason they back out. I remember was it another promotion up in North Olmsted. He comes, weighs in, fights off. The other guy either just didn't cut weight or backed out or whatever happened. It just
So there's something about him that gives out that intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day of the fight, he comes in ready, doesn't get the fight. So it's you feel bad for fighters when that happens and they're doing the work and that happens. But Mo's a good guy, and I'm just it's good that he's just going to get to fight finally.
That's awesome.
And then I'm actually looking for Mitch Dotto and Tyree Johnson. So I always like when Tyree's on the card, man.
Tyree.
I was just about
Tyree.
I mean, it was he was supposed to fight. Wasn't he supposed to fight on the last card?
Yeah.
And then he got sick.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to pull. And I was real bummed out. And if you guys don't know who Tyree is, man, he's got 17 amateur fights. And as of lately, he's actually been on the winning end. You know what I'm saying? So like, his record doesn't do him justice as a fighter now. And then with Mitch. We saw Mitch at IT #fuck Alliance, and by the way, that's going to be a thing every single time I have to bring up that shit organization. Anyway,
no animosity, none whatsoever.
Not at all.
No, we're all humble people here.
we saw Mitch fight, and the dude's Dude's thick, man. Dude's
Yeah.
good, you know. And again, he stands at 5 foot. Or sorry, his record's at 5-5. And you know, he lost to Joe Wheeler, and Joe Wheeler, one of the Cambridge boys,
Yep.
is also a really good fighter as well. And that went to a decision. So I'm actually really looking forward to this fight. And like I said, against Tyree. Tyree's a wrestler, man, coming from the wrestling factory. But I guess it's now Hooligan. He's trained out of Hooligan. I can't remember.
And Tyree's a guy, he cross trains everywhere.
Yeah, well now because I don't think the wrestling factory is even around anymore.
No,
they shut down
They
or
moved to, was it a Taekwondo gym in Cleveland? I forget the name of it. And then a lot of them went to Strong Style when Ian got hired there. So, you know, some guys kind of left out. Some guys were, you know, consumed by the big guys up there. But
right.
yeah, I haven't heard where the rest of the guys, if you know, the Hooligan, or if they're kind of, you know, part of that traveling circus.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We were just talking about a traveling circus last week, didn't we?
Yeah, with
Devontae,
yeah.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Damon Morosco and Tim Hughes, both guys who won last week.
Right.
Or not last week. Whew, last show.
Last show.
Whoa, last show.
I was about to say, we're happy to that 30-day requirement.
Just back to back.
No,
And,
honestly, it was. I did the interviews with both of them, and then I found out they were going to be on this card. I'm drawn. I was saying that before. Yeah. I don't know. They're both really good at what they do.
I mean, well, they were both. I'm pretty sure they last event they were both 0-1. They won. Now both of them stand 1-1.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it. I don't look forward to a lot of amateur fights.
I was referring more to the stand-up game.
This is one of those fights I'm actually looking forward to commentating on. And don't worry, Tim, we got you, man. We'll get that Skype date set up soon. And then we got continue now. We got Kobe Fair,
Fear,
and Chris Wolf. So that's I don't know what weight that's going to take, but Chris Wolf's last recorded weight is 170. Kobe is 145. So maybe they meet in the middle.
Like Kobe just had a boxing fight. I want to say he's right around 145. He's
5'6".
Yeah, he's probably going to end up fighting at 35. Kobe, he was down at Rock Hard when we were there at the end.
Okay.
He's extremely good wrestler. Like he's really, really good. Wrestled at Notre Dame Lake Erie. You know, on their national championship team. Like he's really good. He's up at Strong Style right now. He's from Barberton. He's a local kid.
Right.
But he's whoever comes up against him is going to be in for a tough night. So he's good. You know, the fight he had that he lost, he went in just trying to wrestle and, you know, got caught submission.
Right.
But he's tough, man.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one then.
We got Austin Bailey, Doug Lewis, both guys 145 making their debut. And we got Chris Bat versus Patrick Coyne. And Patrick's making his debut. We got Chris Bat. He's 0-1, so pretty even matchup. We'll see what both guys have. And then Trevor Styles versus Matt Adams, heavyweights. I know Trevor, you know, I was actually offered this fight to fight Trevor, and I had to turn it down because I'm nursing a back injury currently. And but he's 1-1. He's 6'4". He's a true heavyweight, and he hasn't fought since 2010. So going up against Matt Adams, who is 270 last recorded weight, 1-1. So Scott did a good job there pulling that fight. And like I say, he beat Dustin Frett to 2016 TKO referee stoppage, and then he lost to I'm not even going to try to pronounce this dude's name, but he lost in the second round by TKO in 36 seconds in the second round. So
Akram Sharipov.
What's that?
Akram Sharipov.
Sharipov?
Yeah, it's
either Russian or German, one of the two.
I'm going to say Russian.
More Russian.
Somewhere over there.
But that's
Eastern Europe, Russia. It's over there somewhere.
Those are
I'm wrong. But.
Right. He's like,
oh yeah, everyone's gonna get pissed. Everyone on this card is gonna find a reason to get mad. It happens every single podcast, especially when you do like a current
rundown.
card rundown, and you start talking about guys, and
There's
you
no
talked about
love.
me for 2 minutes, and you talked about my opponent for 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
You know, and with saying that, like.
Yeah.
Like the last show, you know, when you're asking for information from fighters, so there is something to talk about, and
Right.
not like, well, I can't really pronounce his name. Good luck.
My main problem is that there's actually a part of the blooper reel where I stopped. They already called me on the camera, and I'm looking at my fiance and Norm's wife, and because they're obviously running the camera, and I'm looking at both of them just deer in headlights while the guy's standing right next to me. I'm like, fuck. What was your name again? I can't remember. Hold on. And then you just see me go right
You
in.
butcher. I don't know why. Andrew Law.
Oh, I know. Justin Law.
You called him Justin.
I called him Justin.
It was.
And it's written clearly right. It was his post-fight interview. He's right next to me. His freaking shirt says Andrew Law right across it. And I'm looking straight at him going, so, guys, we've got Justin Law. Shit.
Well, yeah, Andrew, he's new to the game, you know. See,
Yeah, real new. Impressive record, my friend.
But obviously, there's going to be more fights added onto this card. It's still, we still got about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks or so until till the event anyway. So they got plenty of time. There's probably going to be some fights that get pulled. Someone's going to get sick. Someone's not going to get their blood work turned in. Someone's just going to puss out. It's going to happen. So these fights are not like set in stone. So we'll cover more next week and the week after, and then obviously the week leading up to the fight we'll hit our it'll be probably Rubber City Throwdown episode 4 fight week, and yeah, we'll get it done. There'll be more of that fight card at that point will be more filled out.
Right.
It's kind of like the final stages, and we're actually going to do a true card rundown for that event.
I was just impressed with your guys' ability to being able to have 3 title fights for amateur, correct?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the main professional title fights as well. I think there's only 1, right? Or 2.
I don't think there's any professional.
professional?
There's no
Not yet.
professional
None?
title fights yet, just because there's honestly, who would they fight? I was talking to
Yeah, good
Andrew
point.
Law about
Yeah.
this at the Cage Thunder event. He wants his next fight. He wants to fight for honor, but he wants it to be a title fight.
Right.
But who does he fight?
That's what I got confused.
That's the problem.
That's being looked at. Like we're as a new promotion, you want title fights, you want champs, but you don't want to cherry pick on other promotions,
Right.
title guys like,
Right.
fight for our title. But it's when you're as big as we are now and growing as fast, it's hard to not do that. It's part of
So
the
that goes
game.
back to the war scenario of everybody else trying to come in and do the same.
And with the last show, I changed a lot of how it looked, the presentation of the fights, and everybody saw what it was.
Right.
It had more of it looked better.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing with honor, what all of us agreed on, it's we take care of the fighters,
Right.
we make it so the fans love what they're seeing.
Oh, yeah. I took that photo, and you could not find an upset person in there.
No, and with that, it's like if the fighters are happy, if the win or lose, if they're on the show and they look good and they have a good fight, it's a win for the fighter. Whether they want to use their footage to market, pictures to market,
Right.
we give them the experience of having a good fight. And then you go to the fan side. Hey, I try to make it so there isn't a bad seat. Obviously, there's better seats.
Right.
There isn't a bad one, and it just looked good. I feel bad for the vendors because we had a lot of them and it was dark and there was that
tell
was
you
the
what.
only takeaway. Some of the vendors, it was a little dark for them, but we care more about the fights and the fans. The
Right.
vendors are awesome and we love you guys, but if the fights look like shit, it trickles down and then you're not going to sell anything anyway.
Right. And with the way that I had, that you guys, not I had an idea. The way that you guys had it set up, was perfect for all your vendor tables. I mean, you had the U.S. Army set up on that. All of them pretty much started from the U.S. Army and came all the way back.
It was nice seeing U.S.
Right.
Army sponsoring the events again.
I
because
was
it was
floored.
nice. It was years ago when I was fighting, they were at every single event, and then when we started covering events, man, they were just nowhere to be found anymore.
And
so.
then there was the I almost wanted. Don't take this the wrong way, people. I'm not a pansy. I almost wanted to cry when you guys had a guy swear in inside your octagon.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't really touch base on that before, but when you've got a person that dedicated to their country, and he was also a prior fighter as well, or still is a fighter, correct?
Yes, I think. Well, was till I think he's
Right.
going to ship out or go to basic now.
Right.
But
And then he immediately says, you know what? I want to swear in, and this is the perfect way to do it because I want to honor my country.
Yeah.
And what a better way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, there was a couple of things that I, as a veteran, that I found funny about that. Now, the guy swore in. That's awesome. I mean, to be honest with you, he probably already swore in up at.
Well, I already knew that he already
but
did
he
at
wanted.
Mets,
He
but
wanted
still.
to. I mean, because obviously, the fucking guy that was swearing him in was reading the shit off of his cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
raise your right hand. Oh shit, my
But
screen's dying.
my main thing was about it, Norm, was that
No, I get it. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying.
it puts it out there in perspective.
And then
it was part of the show. And
then the guy who
being on pay-per-view. Now, like his
Yeah.
mom told his whole family, "Hey, he's swearing in the cage on pay-per-view."
Right, yeah.
So for him and that family, amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like some people were like, "This is awesome." Some people were like, "Yeah, whatever."
Oh no, I'm not even complaining to the
Yeah.
fact that the guy swore in on online pay-per-view or in an event. I'm just talking about like the guy who did it. It's just like reading it off of his
Yeah.
phone.
Well, it was for show.
And then the guy singing the national anthem. Guy killed the national anthem.
Yeah.
Take your goddamn beret off.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you had people in the stands that were like, take off your beret. Like if you're gonna sing the national anthem, take your goddamn beret
But
off.
my other question is, isn't there a law that was just passed not too long ago that states if you are a prior vet or if you are in the service right now, you do not require to take your cap?
You take your cap off at any point in time, unless you're okay. If you're outside, yeah, if you're indoors.
Well, yeah, I knew
you
about being indoors.
You take your cap off. If you're outside, you leave your cap on. You salute. As
Okay,
long
so
as
then
you're-
maybe it's just outdoors that you're allowed to. Okay,
But like indoors, yeah, you take your beret off, and I mean,
not prior military, so I don't.
but
just,
it's like I said,
Right.
it's not. There's small grabs. Like it's, to the untrained eye, I guess no one's gonna really give a shit. But there are people that were offended at the fact that the guy was still wearing his beret and he was in there singing the national anthem. And I get that he wanted to wear it because he wanted to show maybe that he himself was a veteran and that he wanted.
oh no, he said they said that he was a Marine Corps vet.
And
He wouldn't be wearing an Army beret if he was a Marine Corps vet.
Oh, well, then maybe he was
He
Army.
was probably MP, something like that. But maybe
It's probably like satellite comms. No, it's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
He
I'm just
flew
playing.
the drone, the very first one.
but with that, there was also like there weren't a lot of like bad things that happened at that show. But one thing that I just want to warn people about: you can't touch other people if you're in the crowd.
No.
If someone has their hat on and you touch them, I'll throw you the fuck out. So the guy in the front row, personal reasons, didn't want to remove his hat, and then national anthem's over. 20 minutes later, I hear, someone went up, smacked him in the back of the head to knock his hat off. Like, obviously those people weren't up in the front by the time I got there. And I was
Right.
like, well, why didn't you take your hat off? He goes, it's personal reasons. All right, cool. Whether I agree with it or not, like, I'm extremely, pro-military, honor the flag, don't be a dick. But you can't make people do something they don't want to.
Right.
Right.
And you definitely cannot touch anybody.
Right.
So,
It's just like funhouse rules.
yeah.
If I don't want it to be
Shit.
touched, don't touch me.
Yeah, and until the end of the night, that was probably the only, like little mishap, whatever. And you
Right.
know, also don't record the fights.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was.
If you're asked to shut your camera off or turn it off, just do it because we will have.
Tell him what happened, Brian. Tell him what happened when you don't. When you don't turn your goddamn camera off, you have to answer to the goddamn general manager, and he will fuck your shit up. Oh no, I'm not gonna back up from the mic. This is fucking my time.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
you were blowing my ears out there for a second.
you know, if I ask you to turn your camera off and you get in my face and headbutt me, it's, you know, don't do that.
Oh, you got headbutted?
Yeah, and then I got scratched. Like, I got a little scar in here on my nose.
Do they not realize
Should've
who
seen
you
the other
are and
guy.
what you do?
Should have seen the other guy. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was all pretty messed up.
All
but-
pretty?
Well, I didn't throw a punch till he came out when I threw a knee and it landed, and that was it. But, you know, but that's all squashed. You know, he talked to me, apologized, and I was kind of like, hey, just, you can't record. And he's like, all right, I'm sorry. But,
Yeah, after
but it's like, you know, I was pretty pissed.
I would be too. I mean, there's other promotions out there that do that, right, Norm?
But
Well, they don't give you the fucking Brian Clark treatment.
I mean, I'm
Just-
sure
they
that
just,
would be.
They just report you on social media for copyright infringement, and they tell you to call their publicist like a bunch of little bitches. Hashtag fuck alliance.
I was going for it, but I didn't know where.
I'm about to get like a.
We need
I'm gonna
shirts
get
made.
I'm gonna get like a bell, like one of those little bing bells, and every time that like we plug somebody or we say hashtag fuck alliance, we're just gonna like race to see who can hit the bell first.
Dude, I'm gonna win every time. You're like Mr. Wilson right now to me. I can barely see anything. I'll be just
not on the video, and every time you say it, you need to have it pop up on the video.
hashtag fuck alliance.
We're gonna have it on the TV, just rotating like a screensaver.
Really sweet.
But getting back to like the promotion itself, like why do you think, you know, being the GM for a promotion, one of the fastest growing promotions in Northeast Ohio right now, why do you think
And there is
that you
statistics to
guys
support that.
are the fastest growing promotion? Like what are you guys doing different that, you know?
Well, not to be corny, but we kind of like formed the Avengers. You know, it
Right.
was like you took like
I never thought of it
all
that
these
way.
people that were doing different things and brought us all together. So it's
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you got a guy who's
Yeah.
doing wrestling, then you have a guy who used to work for the commission.
you know,
And they got you. You're a coach. You're a trainer, and
and I know I worked for the NAFs for 7.5 years.
Yeah, right.
So I've been doing what I do for a long time, and I've seen just about everything that can happen or go wrong.
then you guys brought in matchmaker of the year Scott Corbin.
Absolutely.
And that was a good pickup too.
Oh man, that guy's great.
Like that whole Avengers kind of thing. It's like we day one when everybody was hired. That first fight, and then it was like, oh shit, we all kind of know each other. We all know what we're doing. There was no learning curve. A little bit just on what the promotion, the direction it wanted to go. But I think that was the first step. The second is, Jeremy promotes the hell out of it.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. And he doesn't have a big ego like some other owners.
Right.
He's also like, hey, you're good at this, do it.
Right.
Handle that shit. It's you. And Drew Kearns, he handles, the marketing and getting sponsors and everything. He is extremely good at that. The same way Jeremy is, but they're two different avenues.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And then he, getting sponsor stuff also helps promote.
Right.
And it's just everybody is really good at what they do. Setting up and, solving problems and, getting the hustle on, that's me.
Right.
If it's looking at a venue, finding out what's going to be best, where things fit, what the fans are going to like, what the fighters are going to like. That's what I try. And we all help each other along the way too. We all
Right.
talk, we all argue, we all don't see eye to eye. We come with a compromise, and it's worked out. With all that being said, as far as why the promotion is where it's at and getting bigger, is because it's all working. There's no bullshit with
Right.
Honor. We're not saying we're going to do a bunch of things just to say it and it not
Right,
happen.
yeah.
No, everything we're saying we're going to do, we're doing it.
Right.
We're not just blowing smoke. We're not just saying we're the best promotion in Ohio. Well, you're not.
No. Right.
You
Right.
know, when there were 4 promotions in Ohio, you weren't the best promotion in Ohio.
Right.
You were the only one for about 2 months.
Right.
So they could have that title for about 2 months, and now it's we jumped in, wanted to take our time. The response didn't let us,
Right.
and that and no matter how hard we try not to get too big too fast, we don't control that now.
No.
We're going to put on the best fights, get the best fighters, have the best shows, and it's going to continue to grow.
Right.
And I don't want to get too far ahead, but like the show in April that's coming up, the show in June that's coming up, the show in August, those are all going to be extremely big shows.
Right. We covered the August and the June, I believe, on last week's podcast, and I couldn't say it. I watched our podcast probably about maybe 3 or 4 times. Norm never watched it, and I think I said it the best way I possibly could last week, which was, there's no words. You're nailing it on the head right now, bro, and that is, the A team, we could call it as well, that you guys have put together.
It's just everything's.
We'll just
the
go
Avengers. We got Justice League coming in here. I mean, just a bunch of everybody's using.
No, we're not going to do Justice League, because then we have to figure out who's the Superman of the group.
Oh, shout out to Michelle Kring. I don't want to name everybody, not name her.
Right? Yeah, she's kind of like the.
She's the glue.
Yeah,
right. She communicates with everybody. She's the one who gets stressed out the most because she has the most to do between fights.
Okay.
Like, she's like, I need you to get me this. I need you to get me this. And then it's, Brian, okay, let's talk about this. This is what I have. And sometimes I'm like, nope, not working. Doesn't work. We got to redo this. Or, like for the setup for the one in April, she wants me to do that. And I'm like, well, I need this first. Then it's,
Right, yeah.
But, her job's hard. She does an amazing job at it. And with any job, you never get enough credit. So.
Right, of course, and that's what we're here for. We're here to give that little man or that little woman or young lady, whichever. I apologize if I've offended anybody in this second.
Offended everybody.
And
Yeah, 3
everybody.
seconds.
Right.
3 seconds of offense. I apologize, but no, everybody needs to have some kind of recognition. I've had my own struggles with that. Norm has.
Absolutely.
Everybody has.
Absolutely. And, and then the crew that I have, I'm not going to name everybody, but they all know what they're doing. They all kick ass. There's no issues there. And without giving it away, because they don't want it being said yet, we have another team member that's fighting through some stuff. So pull through, be happy, have fun. We love you. So.
Right.
Well, with that being said, Honor Fighting Championship 3, Operation Shockwave, March 31st. And that's at the Chaparrals Event Center. That's located at 2418 South Arlington Road here in Akron, Ohio. And they said the promoter is Jeremy Caudell. And so, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to get your tickets online, they're selling them at fightertix.com. Support your local fighter. If there's a fighter that you specifically want to support, you can select a little tab. You can select their name. You could buy the fighter ticket from them or on that website. And they're also doing it. Was it Fight.tv? It's the online pay-per-view again. Same as last month. I think it's like $14.99 to watch the online pay-per-view. So, and you get to hear me and my sexy voice, my beautiful voice.
I'm going to turn the treble all the way up on your side.
I'm going to be commentating on this event as well, just like last month. So
turn him into
you and Jose. Will be there
Jose.
Again. You guys did an awesome job the first time. Make sure you buy the table seats too.
Dave McKinney was with us last month, last time as well, and he did a hell of a job. I actually learned a lot from Dave, and I learned a lot from Jose too. Jose's a hell of a play-by-play. So make sure you guys come out and support your fighters, and we'll stop talking about Honor now. But let's talk about you a little bit, Brian. You got your fight team.
We touched on it a little bit.
Apex Fight System.
Thank
I know
you.
I butchered the name last week. I said Apex Fighting System.
Go ahead and
Apex
tell him,
Fight
Norm.
System.
Since you're gonna have Brian throw that all out there, tell him what they did to you when you fucked up the name.
What are you talking about?
When Brian came straight up to you, called you out on it immediately.
Wait,
If you're not gonna say my name right, you're gonna say it.
You got a T-shirt.
You gotta right.
a T-shirt says it.
Oh wait, I
didn't
did
even
that with
realize-
Andrew Law, didn't I?
I didn't even
Love you, buddy.
I didn't even realize that I said it wrong until he even called me out. I was like, "What are you talking about, man?" And then I realized, I was like, "Oh shit, I really did say it wrong." And that's I'm on this fight team, so I train with Apex.
That's what makes it worse.
That's what makes it funny. But But we've been training at the LA Fitness in Cuyahoga Falls. We've been trying to cross train, basically just trying to find a home. And it looks like that we might actually have a home.
Yeah, I in negotiations right now for the lease. There's no one else trying to get it, so we have it, just coming down to the right price. So, and filling out paperwork, got the money to put down, and then after that, it's just cleaning, painting, putting in some restrooms, and we're good to go.
Don't need restrooms.
And then we're just gonna start poaching fighters from other gyms.
Put a hole in the wall and just go.
So if you're not happy at your gym, come see me. No problem.
Well, I mean, it's funny because like
Scalping.
we have a dedicated group of fighters. But we have like I swear there's like at least 10 to 15 other fighters that are currently training at other facilities that are basically just waiting for you to get this spot, and that's it.
You're pretty big around here, man. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I've heard from Norm alone that have wanted you to train them.
Yeah, it's I mean, I like to think I'm a good coach, I'm a good trainer, but I'm not a prick about stuff. Being the only really MMA oriented gym or team in Akron doesn't hurt either.
Right.
Fighters, not all of them are well off and have a bunch of money to travel to some of the other gyms. So it's it could get really big, really fast. I don't want to say like overcrowded. The facility is going to be almost 9,000 square feet.
That's awesome.
Right by downtown Akron.
It's like 3 times the size of my own house.
So it'll be big enough for anything.
You live in a fucking shed.
But
actually, it's a cardboard box, Norm. Thank you, with a tarp on it.
I would have taken the cardboard box.
Don't you? No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Continue.
Just because I live in a makeshift garage does not mean anything.
Yeah, roof's a roof,
It's barely that. I can't even take a shower. Actually, when it rains real well, I can shower without using city water. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold, but nice.
Just gotta keep your roof clean.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
But no, looking forward to getting the spot. Looking forward to training. I'm looking forward to fighting again, man.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for these
The
MRI
fever.
results. And I might even try to get on that April 7th boxing card, man.
Yeah, we might have, out of Apex Fight Systems, 5 guys boxing that night. So working on the matchups now, but it's possible.
Just in a hypothetical, let's say a complete virgin to the sport. Okay, fine. Now that I've already said I
got a friend.
Yeah, I've got a friend. Not me. He wears blue. He wears blue in this room right now. What would be the realistic possibility of starting to train? What would you do for a person right off the street?
Right off the street, it's body conditioning and just basic technique. You don't want to jump in farther than that. And it also depends what you want to do. If you want to fight, if you just want to learn, self-defense or just be a part of a team, it depends on the goals. But you never just want to throw someone in there, be like, oh, we're doing this, then we're sparring, get in there.
Right.
It never works out well.
But that's how you drive people off.
Yeah, and you'll get the guys that come in like, I have 600 street fights, or I went to Thailand and had 60 underground fights, and those guys come in, they try to fight, and it goes one of 2 ways. Normally the first way, which is they get hit, and they're like, yeah, I'm done. I don't know shit.
Right.
Sometimes they get hit, and they're into it.
Right.
They might not have had 300 street fights, but some people don't mind getting hit. It's competition, but more often than not, they get hit, and it's just not their cup of tea. And they I love it. It was great. Thanks for teaching me, and they never come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, the only reason why I asked is I wanted to find out what is causing people to want you, and it seems to me like you are a realistic person.
And I try to be like there's a lot of tough love involved in coaching.
Of course.
And if you don't know how to approach every person as an individual and not just be like, hey, you fucking sucked, come to practice tomorrow, it's not the best way to talk to people.
Right.
Everybody's different. You have to approach every individual different. You can't just have, you know, your one routine speech that you give. Winner, this is my winning speech. This is my losing speech. And motivation for training is different too.
Right.
You know, I have this certain super heavyweight who won't get in the goddamn gym, and I have to talk to him in a certain way. And he's super busy, and I know it, but
Life gets in the way.
He's talented.
Right.
No, he's got the next 2 years to get to where he needs to be to possibly do something bigger in the sport.
Right.
And there's a small window in MMA, in
Right.
combat sports in general.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you can stretch that out a little bit longer if you're good enough. But if you miss the window and then
And what is that window?
you have up until about 27, 28 years old.
Oh,
Like if
wow.
you're going to make a good run,
Right.
You know, and that's if you're coming in with another skill behind you.
Right.
You know, there's exceptions to the rule, like always. You know, some people are a little older, they get into it, and they're just really good.
Right.
You know, it's like Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
You know, but there's not a lot of freak athletes like that. There just aren't.
Right.
There's people that, you know, get into it as a teenager, like not just wrestling or, you know, jiu-jitsu. There's fighters that are 16, 17 that are fighting.
Right.
You know, and then once they hit 18, 19, they're way ahead of the game. It's keeping them interested. It's keeping them motivated, because, you know.
So you got the burnout scenario.
Yeah, and that's one thing you don't want to do is have them get burnout where it's not fun anymore.
Right.
You know, you can only do so much as an amateur.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
That you can only do so much. You're limited on what you can do in the cage. You don't make any money. You're limited on everything except fighting.
And that's where you come into play, where you've got
It's keeping them motivated, you know, and you have to set goals for everybody too. And
That's awesome.
like, you can't tell everybody, oh yeah, we'll get you in the UFC, you'll be great, you know, hustle. Yeah, that's bullshit.
I said just to give everybody who's not thinking outside the box, okay, in the country, just the country, let's say we'll go statistically 10 years ago, there was just over 300,000 listed fighters, licensed fighters just in the US.
right.
Okay. Out of those, let's say 300,000, there's probably more now. It's been a decade since those statistics were released. I'm sure there's more now. So we could even up at, let's say 600,000 fighters in the U.S. alone. They got kids that are coming up as teenagers that are hitting as soon as 18, they're licensing up and they're fighting. So then you have you starting out. Yay! I want to be a UFC fighter. I want to fight, and you start. Now you're competing. I mean, think about it. How many fighters are in the UFC? A couple hundred?
I think that's like they try and keep like 350 on their roster.
Yeah, about 350 fighters
So
out
then
of
all
over
the-
600,000, and that's just in the U.S.
Right.
Now count everybody else in the world that's
Correct.
fighting. So the chances of you making it to the UFC are very slim. You have to be very good, and I hate to say it, but you have to know the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
and that is a huge thing. You have to be connected in some way. There are a lot of talented fighters out there right now who are going nowhere because they don't have the right connection. And until they get that right connection, you know, that's when they'll start going places. And then you get people who have like the Chael Sonnen effect, where you have a good record, and the UFC calls and like, hey, we had a guy that dropped out on short notice. Can you fill it? And you're like, yes. And then they succeeded and they ended up getting the contract. Yep. You know, then you got guys who get offered because they know somebody, they get to go on the Ultimate Fighter TV show because they knew someone that was already in the UFC, and they were like, hey, Dana, you should check this guy out. And then, you know, because like, you got fighters like Justin Gaethje, who was 18-0 before he finally got the call to the UFC. This dude dominated the World Series of Fighting for so long before he finally got in. And then it shows that UFC will change a fighter. He won his first fight, they pumped him up, and then he lost.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, granted, he's still a really entertaining fighter to watch, but it's just think about the statistics, though. You know,
Right.
that many fighters just in the U.S., and then think about you, and then think about the whole world, and then so yeah, you can't promise as a coach. as someone trying to motivate your fighters, you got to be real. You have to be honest with your fighters and with people in general. Hey, we're not going to promise you the UFC. We're not going to promise you this. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, as me as a fighter, like I'm 30, almost 31, just getting back in the game, and I feel that, you know, I've always said it, that the MMA is a young man's sport, and a lot of guys now around my age who didn't make it to the top, or maybe made it to that next level and then failed, and now they're, you know, doing nothing. They're just trying to fight locally. Some of them don't even fight anymore because they fought all through their 20s and they took too many hits. They're seeing flashes of light. They're concussed. You know, they can't fight. I never had that, so I'm trying to do that now. I'm trying to I'm trying to fight through my 30s to see if I can make it to the. And honestly, I don't even care about making it to the UFC. I just want to fight internationally at some point.
Right.
That's it.
And at any top level sport, any athletic, it's the land of broken dreams.
Right.
It always is. You know,
So you're going to start out, and then
10
you're
people
going
that
to.
made it, there's 1,000 that didn't.
You got guys like Charles Bennett, who's got like 50-something fights, but he's like 30, and I mean, I don't know. He's probably taken, by now, he's probably taken another 12 fights.
Right.
Yeah, but he was like 29 and 30.
Right.
You know, he fought in Pride. He's got like some of the best slams in the business,
Right.
but now he just fights locally now. He's still hustling. He's still grinding, but he's never, you know, and that's he's never
You're as
gonna make
good
it.
as you once was.
Yeah.
type
And then
deal.
another thing that's hard to tell fighters too is don't look like a douche on social media.
Right.
You know, because people look at that. Like, don't whine and cry. Don't make it your diary. You know, because if someone's looking at that and they're like, this person's going to kill themselves, like they're really upset.
Right.
They're not trying to get you on a fight card.
Right.
You know, they're just not. And you know, like especially with you know Facebook, a lot of people are just so into posting everything they do like a diary. And
I can't do it.
I'm so sad. You
Can't
know,
do that.
No one loves me. Blah blah blah. You gotta cut that shit out.
Right.
And-
See, and Norm was even saying to me the other day, he goes, "You need to get on social media more often, bro. I just can't do it. I
Getting
don't
on there is great. Like get on there, share stuff, post stuff.
see. I'm the
You
worst
can
at
only
that.
you can only get so personal. Like if something's really important and
Right.
that's your best way to tell everyone. Hey, that's the best way. But oh man, my hamster died. I want to get drunk tonight. I'm really
I need my goldfish back.
Listen,
Anybody see him in the sewer?
I'm on social media quite a bit, but I don't think that I utilize it to my full potential, because I think back now, I'm like, man, I should have really like documented the weight loss as like more.
Right.
I should have made a lot more
Should have had that little flip book
videos.
going where you just shrink.
Yeah. Just, so going to my next question for you, Brian, is what made you want to become a trainer?
Honestly, broken dreams. Like I said, you know, I wanted to do MMA. I did. You know, I was trying to train, do some stuff, but getting sick, injuries, you know, family issues. I just didn't have enough time. And then, you know, I have this jacked up shoulder. I will have to have surgery on. And I've always been a good coach.
Right.
Like I coached like middle school basketball, and I coached, you know, youth wrestling, football, summer league baseball. I've always been a good teacher, and I've always been quick to learn things I need to know to teach.
Okay.
You know, so with, you know, fighting in general, when you first learn, sometimes it's really hard. You know, you don't get it. You're not understanding the combo, or now you have the combo and your footwork sucks, and getting all that in sync. And then you teach someone else part of what you know, and then as you're teaching, you can kind of like, oh, that's where I'm messing up, and then you pick up on it. Then you can start rolling. But you know, in my situation, I could hear someone and watch what they do, and then I could teach it like that.
Okay.
Like just right away. Always been like that. And then I would memorize what they were teaching and try to learn it. Perfectionist, not good enough. Go home, have a nightmare about it. Come in, now it's great.
Right.
You know, now I can do it. You know, and actually, Unique Fitness, I had moved in the area. I worked at another gym as an instructor for almost a year. Left there, moved. I was just going to go in and work out. Went in. And they were kind of like, hey, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, I was coming in to work out. And he's like, you want to teach a class? I'm like, I'll teach a class, you know, cool. And I was already like managing fighters and stuff like that at the same time. With Apex Fight Systems was the whole system, training,
Right.
management, marketing, all that. That's why I wanted the name,
Right.
the Fight Systems, not just coaching and training. It's everything.
Not Apex Fighting Systems.
Right, not fighting. So I go in there, teach a class, knew the guys that were there already. As a coach, got along with them really well. And then from there, just, hey, you're the MMA coach, you're the kickboxing coach, the striking coach. Then they had boxing, they had a boxing coach, they had jiu-jitsu coaches, and I worked well with those guys for the most part. And then after that, just got on a roll.
Right.
More guys started coming down. Isaiah came back. Isaiah was kind of like out of the game, not sure if he was going to do it. I'm like, hey, I'm the coach at Rock Hard now. Unique Fitness, come on down. He was there in 2 days, ready to go, back in it. And just, I don't want to say like got carried away, but there was excitement, and I was just kind of like, oh man, all right. So these guys are, they're listening, they're letting me coach them. They're not, I don't want to say buying into what I was selling, but if I'm like, hey, you can't fight in MMA with no kicks. Your guys' kicks are garbage. And they were like, yeah, you're right. All right, teach me. Like they wanted, they wanted to learn. And then I just kept accumulating, more fighters, more people, even for cross training. Hey, when can I come cross train with you? Like, who do you have? Like, they wanted to cross train with me, and then who do you have?
Right.
And now it still happens that way, but now they're like, oh, this person, this person, this person are with you. Yeah, what do you guys do? Where are you guys at? And then it's like, man, I really, need to get a location. And then, as we were at this other gym, and it worked out really well for the first couple months, but, working for free doesn't work out.
Right.
People going against their word doesn't work out. So left there and just kind of, opening up your own gym's hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if I hate somebody, if they were running their own gym, respect. Like, it's tough. Finding the money to do it, the motivation, and having enough people just do it, it's hard. Finally there, a couple more weeks just filing out some details, and it's just I'm passionate about it. And it's it's what I want to do, because I enjoy it.
Right.
Win or lose, I enjoy it, because like I said, I'm always learning, and that's even with my fighters. It's like, hey, you have to learn something every day, or you have to relearn something. And there's so much to fighting. There's always something to improve on.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to be definitely coming at you probably in the next 6 months.
Okay.
I do appreciate you coming on here and letting us pick your brain a little bit and explaining everything that you're doing, and 100% respect, man. Thank you for coming on. And
love being here.
well,
And that's it, man. Like I said, make sure you guys get your tickets, support your fighter. Honor Fighting Championship 3, March 31st at the Chaparrals Event Center. And until next time, take it easy.
Hashtag.
fuck Alliance.